All right, so originally we had done that video. It was kind of like a it was kind of like a manifesting video of like picking your favorite person, and or you're picking your partner. I forgot what I called it. Perfect partner. Sorry. I think I've already started channeling, so I'm having a hard time accessing my brain. I wanted to do a part 2 to that one. It's weird because I was hoping different cards would come out, but I can kind of still see where this is going. I wanted to kind of address a facet of, I guess, that particular thing, that particular video, about your perfect partner, because I want to say we were talking about like abundance in a way, because we were talking about, you know, being authentic, like being ourselves, and then drawing towards us what, you know, what we want, kind of a thing, which is really what abundance is. And I wanted to do kind of almost like a follow-up video. I think I might start doing more of these, and there might even be some already on the channel that are kind of like manifestation based. I just didn't necessarily label them like that. I want to do a few more of those because sometimes it's easier to explain certain concepts when the cards are in front of me. And so I wanted to talk about abundance, why your abundance is linked to your, let's put the love together. And this is the garden and the gate, which the abundance is out there. So this is literally symbolic of the abundance. I wanted to break this up into like kind of like four categories. So I don't know how long this video is going to be. I might have to break it in half. But the first category, we're going to actually talk about abundance. And then we're going to talk in the second category about love. And then we're going to talk about money. And then we're going to talk about like basically how our brains get in the way of that. So those are the four categories. So each time we pull, I'm going to pull cards like these to start, and then we're going to pull tarot on top of it. So I will put I most likely will put timestamps on this video. Okay, so we have hostilities, we have envy, we have the door to personal healing and happiness, we have the door to romance in reverse, we have broken heart in reverse, we have the garden and the gate upright, and we have the thinking man in reverse. I would kind of like one more card. I think originally I didn't want to pull this many, but this is, all right, so we have community and appreciation. Perfect. All right, hold on. He's extra. Okay. So abundance, a lot of times, we're talking about an energy, right? So let's say that you have hostility towards people. You might be bringing something into your abundance, or you might be affecting your abundance in a way that you may not necessarily want to. Again, with the envy, this could be, or sometimes if you have friends that are like thieving, or you know, there's like a lower vibration, then a lot of times that abundance air, it may not 100% be present, and even if it appears like it is, it could be disguised as something else. And hopefully my thought process will take me back to what I mean when I say that. Because then typically we don't manifest abundance in toxicity. Right now we're starting out here with toxicity, right? And I have this Ace of Wands here with this hostilities, basically. It's kind of like, again, if we engage in that, we're kind of, it's a negative vibration, and abundance is on a high vibration. So we're sort of cutting ourselves off to what it is that we want if we're trying to manifest abundance, right? So this Page of Cups with this envy, a very common example of that is when someone starts a relationship and then friends get jealous or family gets jealous. They see someone either spending time with someone else, or they see someone giving love to someone else, which can trigger people, right? It kind of messes with your abundance because they start shooting envy or ill will towards you, and it kind of sours the situation energetically. So this may or may not be concerned depending on the strength of relationship, how long it's been around, how much envy is being thrown, what else is being thrown, stuff like that. It's kind of like what we're talking about, right? This one fell on the floor and then turned upside down, but this is the Two of Wands, and it's in reverse on this personal healing and happiness. I kind of feel like, to a certain extent too, when we pay a lot of attention to others, especially in a negative way where we want to retaliate or we want to be envious or whatever, it puts us in a state where our healing and our happiness is affected, because our happiness is definitely affected because we're envious, we're hostile, you can't be that and happy, right? You can't. But on top of that, the healing part of it is what keeps you from getting caught up in those hostilities and the envy, right? So the more you feed into it, which I kind of feel like, as I'm picking up, as what this like Ace of Wands is, when you're passionate about the hostilities, you kind of become more stuck to it, stuck in it, right? And then when you're giving love to someone else in front of other people, then you're bringing this to it, right? And I feel like when you're kind of affecting your healing and happiness through whatever means, those are just two examples. I feel like it makes you wait longer for what you want, because you're affecting your current state on what you're trying to bring. You can't bring in like we said, you can't bring in that positive vibration, that higher vibration, with a lower vibration. The community we described as like bad friends, but the community card really isn't coming off like that. It is just coming off as friends. This Queen of Wands, sometimes, like when she's in reverse, she's like a character. When she's upright, she tends to be more just creative and things like that. Again, when you're abundance is everything. So abundance isn't just about the love that we give to others, or when we're doing something that we don't want, basically when we're getting in the way of our healing and happiness. Healing, let's consider healing to be health. Health is abundance. Happiness is happier, always happier than you've ever been, happier every day. That's abundance, right? Friends, good friends, abundance. When you have things that you like to do, you like to paint, you like to draw, you like to do different things, you like to create. This is that creativity energy that we see. It's abundance. It's being able to create anything you want, right? And this Hierophant came out upside down, but technically it should go on that Door to Romance in reverse, but I feel like it goes on the Thinking Man in reverse, because I feel like this Hierophant in reverse is kind of like the Thinking Man in reverse is basically going against how, like, the nature of how things are. And I feel like that's why the Hierophant in reverse is showing up and should show up here. And on top of that, I have this Four of Pentacles, and this is actually upright, and this makes sense on that Door to Romance, because a lot of times when we're hanging on to stuff, and it doesn't matter what it is, I feel like it inhibits our walk through that Door to Romance. That's why it's upside down, kind of a thing. And when we're hanging on to stuff, it also promotes our lingering broken heart. The heart breaks, but we don't have to continue to sit there and, I was going to say not even try to glue it back together. I literally had a vision of someone like holding half of the heart in each hand and just staring at it. See, I feel like that's not letting stuff go. I feel like that's not healing, and I feel like that's not happiness. And then you have this appreciation, which again is the opposite of that. If you want to be in that abundance energy, you have to appreciate the things that you have. That's the abundance. Telling the universe, you know what, I love what you've given me. Can I have more? Like, can I have more of that? More of that? More of that? And that's how you use that to get love or anything else. And people get tired of fighting with other people, right? We just get tired of getting to the point where we're kind of like, you know what? No matter what I do, I never win. That is a feeling of like lack and loss. This is the the Knight of Swords on top of this appreciation. Just kind of telling whoever resonates with this reading to go for it, to go for appreciating anything and everything that you can possibly acknowledge in your life. If you got, I heard this before, you got 10 things going on and you got 9 things that are kicking your ass and you got 1 thing that's going right, you're supposed to focus on that 1 thing. Those other 10 things could either end or get better on their own. Making room for other things that could get better or be good. That's what abundance is. Because trust and believe stuff's going to come to you. It's just a question of whether or not you want it to be positive or negative, right? What do you want to draw to yourself? If you're in hostility and you're passionate about being hostile towards others, you're going to draw more hostility. You're going to get an abundance of that. It's just not going to feel like abundance. But this is like what we're talking about. It's like the natural response from the universe. This is the King of Swords upside down with the garden and the gate. See, again, when we're the King of Swords upside down, we're not extremely healed here. And then when it comes time to go through the garden and the gate, we're not even really sure why. We don't see the value of that because we think it's kind of like looking outside this gate right here. Because, you know, the King of Swords could be like, well, I'm just going to cut that off. I keep hitting my microphone. I hope I'm not doing anything to it. But it's almost like they're like, well, you know, I like these flowers, but I don't like that grass over there. That's how this King of Swords is coming off. Like we're picking and choosing the things that we want to appreciate. We got Justice upside down. We got Judgment, which I feel like is a response of the universe to us judging certain things and not wanting it. I feel like we have Death in reverse because there's not going to really be anything new coming in because we can't appreciate what we have. And then we had this Four of Cups, which was, I don't know, it's like, I thought it was in reverse, but it really feels better like this. It's kind of like when we're not appreciating the things that we have, we're basically telling the universe that we're not going to appreciate anything coming in. And sometimes because of that, it won't even bring stuff. But then a lot of times if it does bring stuff, it brings more negative stuff because that's what we're sitting in. That's what we're acknowledging. That's what we're doing. Right? I'm trying to see if there's any other points. I mean, the biggest point about abundance is that appreciation. That card needed to come out, right? But the romance cards came out too, because again, as we said, abundance is everything. So love is part of abundance. This is going to be important later on when we talk about love. And it's going to be important later on when we talk about money. We have this friends here. And again, you know, the abundance of good friends and good family is basically what you would call a support system, but a support system of good people. And then you have healing and happiness here. So an abundance of happiness. Again, like I said, abundance comes in many forms. And I'm just trying to see if I forgot anything else. Oh. So this is the card that I feel like symbolizes the fourth part of this reading, that this is the extra card here. This is the one that's going to kind of be like how, and this is why too, this is why he's upside down. Because this is the ways that your brain can get in the way. Because I also feel like this is this and this Judgment card. So we'll see if in the fourth segment of this, because I'm going to do that part last, if this Garden and the Gate comes out, if this Thinking Man comes out in reverse, or if this King of Swords comes out in reverse, or Judgment comes out, because these are kind of like my someone's thinking and screwing it up cards, right? Messing up the natural flow of what wants to come in because they're introducing belief systems into it that don't fit the actual idea of abundance. And it's the whole reason why we shot this video, because the reason why we're separating money and love, I feel like I did a video like this before, but it wasn't very good. I think it was like when I first started this channel and I was trying to explain probably the same thing I'm trying to explain now, but I think to a certain extent I understand it a little bit better now, because, and it really, all you have to do is understand abundance to understand why. You don't necessarily have to understand love and money any better, but it kind of like got me to be like, oh, okay. And I think it was also the way somebody had put it one day, and it's kind of like how I want to put it to you guys, but we have to have all these like energy cards come out in these different categories to see exactly like what, you know, how we can explain it. So we said we were going to do love next. So that was the abundance part of it. We basically gave the basic components of what you need to manifest abundance, right? But also these are little components about that people forget. And the reason why they watch that movie, The Secret, and they say, well, it doesn't work. Yeah, because things get in the way, or they have belief systems that make them think that certain things aren't important when they are. So again, that's why I'm hoping that they'll come out solely in this reading so that we don't have to do two. So that's the storm warning in reverse. See, what is this? It's like dancing around. Happy family in reverse. And remember, this is the love portion of it. What's happening? Well, I will say that when you operate in this storm warning has come up a lot in like when I've been pulling cards like on relationships. I mean, some of them might have been like zodiac readings, but we were talking about relationships. And anytime that storm warning comes up, usually it's tied to like a person in our life who we're in a relationship with who's like turbulent, right? So it's, even if you're calm, you have this like repeat of storms because you have somebody in your life who like kind of likes drama. Oh, this is perfect. This is what I'm talking about. Oh yeah. What's interesting, I just did that video, that set of videos on like karmic energy and like being in relationships and stuff, and that angel of strength popping, whoa, popping up like that. There's a couple on the floor. Okay, so this is victory. Okay, so that angel of strength right now there is kind of coming off as like people when they do stuff over and over again in relationships, like they wear you down. And it's interesting that it's coming up in here too, because that's another concept that I might not have thought. I gotta get these off the floor. That's another concept that I might not have thought to talk about. Yep. Okay, so some of these are extra, so it's got to be these two because they fell out last when they're on the floor. So, all right. So we talked about our significant other who's stormy. Happy family tied to it too, because another type of love, a familial love, right? So this would be like a romantic love. This would be like a familial love, right? It's upside down, I feel like, because a lot of times too, when we want abundance, we're thinking about money, or we're thinking about that house we want, or that car, or the things that don't really have anything to do with family, right? So we're in this love section of the reading, but we're thinking about money, right? Financial constraints upside down. So we have happy family, so we're not thinking about that. We are, because that to us is like love. Like we want to love our kids, we want our kids to love us, we want to experience love through being a parent, grandparent, whatever's going on. Like this is stuff we want, right? This I feel like is symbolic of things that we love out in the world. So in other words, when people use the words like, oh, love everyone, or love, unconditional love, like this is what I feel like this is, right? We don't love some things but hate in others. Again, when you pick and choose like that, it's not abundance. If you loved everything, you would kind of get everything back, as opposed to picking and choosing. Again, it's that energy that we said, that King of Swords, right? And then we have this carrying connections in reverse. So we have happy family in reverse, and we have carrying connections in reverse. Again, this is like bad friends. Now, when we're in this state where this is like storm warning is upside down. So really that's us wanting to be away from that. Again, that's like an abundance of love in a relationship, not wanting to be treated a certain way, right? But then we have happy family in reverse, and we have caring connections in reverse. Again, I think a lot of times we might focus on one kind of love, but not all kinds of love. Again, we might have some of these, but not all of them. Maybe we love our family, but it's falling apart because some people want to act up. Maybe we have toxic friends, toxic family we didn't realize we had, and those are the people that are supporting us. It's kind of like stuff like that. When that happens, the abundance doesn't come to us because, again, we're in an energy of lack. We don't have the support from our family or our friends. We don't have the support of any kind of caring connections that would make us feel like we have abundance. And then we have this financial constraints upside down. And again, I said that was the card that symbolized us actually thinking about our money while we're supposed to be concentrating on our love. Meanwhile, this angel of strength upside down. Again, I feel like this is in situations where we're weak is where we really botch this, because either something happens and then we have a belief system that keeps us from our victory, really keeps us from understanding how we get an abundance in love. But on top of that, it's a possibility that sometimes we even lose that desire because of the things that happen to us when we decide not to date, or we decide to never have a relationship again, or never get married again, or never get it. That's what this is. This is that situation flipping us to the point where we're not willing to try it again, and being closed off to love is not abundant. It's not abundance. Okay, so when we get past that, we use our strength, and we get past that, and we prevail from that situation because we're really truly searching for still a higher love. That's when that victory comes in, when we don't let it get to us. But again, if we're focusing on money, if we're watching somebody else to make sure they don't blow up, if we're like, why doesn't our family love us? Maybe, like I said, we have love for all things. We don't understand why our connections are trash. But then at the end of the day, it just seems like we're just by ourselves, like holding a heart, right? That's not abundance. This is why we have to think of it. So here's this Page of Cups again, right? But this is on top of storm warning. So I feel like the storm warning again is in reverse. When someone's offering us love, when we don't have to worry about the storms, then we tend to have more of a free-flowing life. When we have more of a free-flowing life, we have abundance. It's like you have this happy family with these 4 people underneath here with this rainbow, right? And it's upside down. And then you have this 10 of Cups with this 4 people underneath here with this rainbow of 10 cups. This is what I'm talking about. We have to, keep our eye on the prize for starters, but then we also have to create it. We're involved in this. Again, it's not just that other person bringing that cup. We're bringing it too. If we have children or other people involved who are watching our lead, they have to watch us bring the cup. Otherwise, there aren't going to be any cups, right? And then I have also the Ace of Cups on the world. Again, our love for everything in the world. It's the reason why a lot of times we don't wait to make caring connections. We go out and we find those connections because we know they exist. That's what we mean by abundance. We don't go, oh, the world is trash. There's no good people out there. Again, that is lack. So even if we're sitting around going, oh, I just need one good person, that's lack. We have to believe that there's 10 good people for us, and that we have a choice. We can pick who we want. That's abundance. What's this? This one flipped over. So this 2 of Wands right here. Again, we have a choice. We don't just want to think about money in terms of abundance. We want to think about love too. This is the reason why they're tied together. We cannot go, yeah, I want money, but I don't really want love, and then expect that money is going to come towards us, because we just blocked ourselves with the belief system, the thinking man in reverse, that basically made the statement that said that we don't want abundance. We're basically walking away from the idea. We're like, you know what? I only have 6 swords. I'm just going to take what I have, and I'm going to take my money and run, because I don't think that I can have 10 swords. And a lot of times 10 swords would be bad, but you know what? Again, in the land of abundance, it's not necessarily. He's taking what he's collected and he's moving on. Which is a really good example of what you should do in love. You should learn what you learn and then move on. Don't let it break you down, right? The victory is all in this. Look at this. We have this Queen of Swords upright. Remember when we had the King of Swords in reverse? And then this is this 8 of Cups energy in reverse on top of this woman holding a heart. So again, it's not even just about accepting the fact that you do want money, but you also want love. But then separately, it's about not walking out on the idea of love because you gave up, because you didn't think you were going to be able to get more of what you got, or better than what you got, when you got this option to cut stuff off that's coming towards you that you don't want. That's kind of important, because you don't have to take everything. When you're deciding, this card kind of came out in my hand. I feel like this Ace of Swords came out before. It could have been another reading, or maybe it came out in this deck. But either way, I feel like, when you're doing this, you have to think about all things. Obviously, there's things in this world that we do and don't want, but that's kind of like in creation terms, what I call sifting and sorting, and we do that anyway. We do that all day long. I like strawberries. I don't like bananas, or I don't like bananas by themselves, but I like them with strawberries. We do this all day long. Here's the Queen of Pentacles. The question is, do we want to do it in a way where we're restricting, or where we have unlimited possibilities? Strawberries go with a lot of things, so do bananas, right? They're not limited. And don't let anybody tell you that there's not enough strawberries and bananas, because it's not true. There's enough people to share friendships. A lot of times these important relationships show up as the Six of Cups, right? These are sometimes the relationships that cause us to want to walk away. We just have to remember that we were supposed to learn something from it. It's kind of what I said over here with this Strength card. And then this self-imposed prison of making decisions based on what happened. Here's this Ten of Wands here, the burdens. And then taking that stuff with us. Again, that's not abundance. If we let stuff go and didn't bind ourselves, just again appreciated what we had. Like again, if we have 10 friends and 9 of them suck and one of them's a good friend, we focus on that one good friend. We don't keep trying to deal with that 9 bad friends, especially if they're not calling us back. Well, what kind of friendship is that? How does that even show us that there's abundance? Maybe we go out with this one good friend and we meet 10 other good friends because that person knows how to pick friends, right? But it wouldn't happen if we didn't walk towards that person, because we think that everybody's like the friends that we have. Again, that's lack. We have to believe that there's a ton of people out there that care about our being friends with us, right? And then align with those people. So it can't just be, I want money, I want money, I want money, or I want love, I want love, I want love. They're tied. So let's pull money now. These cards are like unruly. It's like they don't really want to come off the table. It's just going to take another second. And I'll probably cut that out. Cut this out, whatever, unless I'm talking, obviously then. We did say what we were going to be going into next. Whoops. All right, I am curious of what is going to come out in money. After the tarot cards in with the energy cards. Give me another second. It's been a little bit of resistance on some of these messages. It's been a little harder to get them out. So I don't even want to turn the camera off. I don't know. All right. So we said money. Let's talk about money in abundance. First, we'll get our energy cards. All right. Would not be surprised if, love cards came out, or a love card came out. Oh, well, this is close enough. There's our heart chakra. Patience in reverse. Hostilities again. So hostilities coming after the abundance. And hostility is coming after the money. This is people trying to take your money from you. So outside influences. So this isn't even just about us talking about, see here, our world is upside down. Now I'm picking that up as us wanting money but not love. What's this? Oh, messing up our sacral chakra. And then we've got the angel of strength upright with happy family upright. Okay, so funny enough, this seems like the opposite of kind of like what we just pulled in a way. We picked up that world upside down as the opposite of the card that was there before that in that other reading when we were so first of all, the world was over here upright. We said it was our love for the world, right? But now we're in this money energy, and we're talking about how our love for the world is upside down a little bit, right? We're in money, but our love for the world is upside down. This is kind of like what I'm talking about. I feel like those two cards are related. And then now remember, we have hostilities over here. This is people wanting to go after your money. But then remember, we had it over there, and that was people like not really wanting you to have abundance. Wasn't it? I feel like it was. Okay. And then, of course, with our love for the world gone, where money is concerned, now we have this, we're back now soured on love. We want money instead of love. We're letting go of this, right? And then because we're letting go of that, we're letting go of our passion. Some of these chakras are tied together. You can't just shut one down and then the other one's working, right? So now our passion for chasing money through the obstacles is gone. And so is our love for other things that are involved, right? Well, we want to make money to make our family happy. Again, do the two have anything to do with anything? With each other is what I meant to say. And then now we have this angel of strength upright because we're willing to put in for that. If we could be rich, and especially if we can be rich overnight, we're willing to put in for that. We're willing to put in for that over and over again. Regardless of who comes after us. Look at this. 10 of Cups again. Same card. I had put it in the middle of the deck. Now it's on our heart chakra in the money category. Because, first of all, again, money is a frequency. So if abundance is a high frequency, money is a frequency somewhere. So if you can't be on the abundance high frequency because you're on a low frequency, because you're envious of everybody else that has abundance, and you have these beliefs, these belief systems, they're going to mess with your money. So we got victory on top, victory in reverse on top of patience, and then we've got this Page of Pentacles on top of hostilities. Again, people mad when you give money, when you have money. And then we have this Queen of Wands back out on this Angel of Strength. Now that was our creativity before, right? We're trying to find more and more ways to make money. Now we have the actual Strength card on top of our world that's upside down. Our love for the world. That was our strength, by the way. Now we have our Page of Cups in reverse on top of this Angel of Love. So this tells me that this is the reflection of the denial of the love in our manifestation of money. It's the whole reason why this Patience is upside down and this Victory card is upside down. You can't deny the love and get the money. The two aren't, those two concepts aren't tied together. We have Judgment upside down, and I have now with Happy Family, I have the Four of Wands upright. So maybe we want to make money because we want to have, provide for our family, or maybe we'll want to make money because we want to have, a good, let's call it wedding. But typically, again, because we're talking about money, it's not about the wedding, it's about the marriage. It's not about providing for your family, it's about being there for them. Yes, providing for them does mean being there for them, but if you have to be gone to provide for them, I don't think that counts for a lot of family, a lot of kids who would rather have their dad than the money. Kind of thing. And we're bringing it up. It's relevant here. We're talking about money. We're talking about family. I'm going to pull a couple more from that Enchanted Dreams Tarot. Two of Pentacles. We have a choice, but we have to accept both. We have to accept love and money Nine of Cups. That's our potential. I'm seeing this as our potential. Where's our Ten of Cups again? There it is. Yeah, that's our potential. We have to pay attention to everything. We can't just pay attention to the money, and we can't just pay attention to the love. That's the point, right? We act like they're not tied together. Yeah, I just want to make money. I don't really need love. But then we act like, well, we want to make money for the people that we love. Well, which one is it? All right, let's get into how our brain interferes. This is the last part of it. Where are we at right now? 34? I think it was said 34, 44. All right, so this is truly like a depiction of the contemplation of how your money and your love are tied together in abundance. If you're accepting money and love in your head, but you're not accepting other stuff, you're still cutting off your abundance. It's not just all about money and love. We're just using money and love as an example because when people say they're intertwined, that's what they refer to. They say that money and love is intertwined. But to be honest with you, it's all intertwined. Again, if you were going to college and you started a new class, and let's say it's your first semester, and you go, and you're the quiet one, you sit in the back, you don't want anybody to talk to you, but then every single day a different student or a different staff member tries to introduce themselves to you, but you don't want to meet anybody. You're just there to learn, right? You giving up those potential friendships, those potential study partners, those potential people that you could get help from, then you're cutting off your abundance, right? You're making the choice. The universe is even offering it to you by people coming up to you and saying, hey, my name is so-and-so. You look new here. And you're kind of like, yeah, I'm not really in the market for new friends. I'm just here to learn. I got storm warning upside down, and then I got man holding a coin upright on the split. And then I had community upside down on the split, and then I have door to value. Check it out. So I want like 2 more cards, but I think I'm going to end up getting 3. Let's see what's going on with how we can talk ourselves into it. So storm warning is back upside down. I think this is us creating problems where there aren't any. And that walking away card upside down too. Again, I think that's us refusing to, all right, this is us being grounded. That's us refusing to acknowledge the fact that certain things are certain ways and they're not necessarily the way that we think they are. Walking through that gate isn't going to change the perception of the universe. Here's the sun with our man holding a coin, and then we have anxiety underneath this community in reverse. It's beautiful. All right, so here we go. Back to what we were saying. So the ways we can get in our own head. Okay, so this walking away card, actually the story behind it is, again, it's almost like the garden and the gate where the abundance is out there, right? And she's really choosing to like decide, is she going to go out there and get it, right? She's standing there. She's like, am I going to go out there and get it? There's so many ways I can get in my own way. I'm looking back, I can see the house. I'm like, do I really want to leave the house? Like, I don't know, and then we have this storm warning, right? And that one's upside down. And originally we said that was somebody whose partner is bringing storms, but it's upside down. I think this is us bringing storms this time because we're in the area of how we contemplate how we're looking at abundance and love and money. And by the way, again, this isn't just about abundance and love and money. It's about all facets of abundance, which basically means everything. This is the way that we can get into our own way, using everything to interfere with our abundance. I hope you picked that up because it's the only way that I could say it, and it's very accurate. Then we have this man holding a coin, right? So we're saying again, abundance is about, it's not just about love, it's about money, but it's also about how we look at money. Remember, money is a frequency. And then when we jump down to that door to value down there, that is, again, everything. If you look at that card, there's money flying around, but there's also other stuff flying around. And so it's the value, and I feel like it's also the value of us, like our value and what value we put in others. Again, that's a form of abundance. I got this King of Wands in reverse on top of walking away. I feel like sometimes we talk ourselves out of things because we're scared. I'm not picking up that King of Wands in reverse as being scared necessarily, but I'm picking him up as having a lack of interest in going through the gate. And I think that that's an overshadowing. I think humans are curious by nature. I think we want to go through that gate. I think that if there is fear, then that's an easier way that we can use to talk ourselves out of the gate. Again, that leads us into that we're bringing our own storm, because we're giving ourselves reasons to not believe a certain way, or to not go for it, or not think a certain way, or whatever it is. It doesn't matter what we're chasing. The only reason why love and money are like I say, more prevalent in the conversation is because it's more of a conversation that people have about why they can't have that thing, why they can't have love, and why they can't have money, right? It's that they're concentrating. That's the Magician underneath, or on top of, sorry, the Magician in reverse on top of the Storm Warning in reverse. And I think that's because, to a certain extent, we're creating it, but for some reason we can't control it. The negative beliefs and the things that we say, we perpetuate them, we born them, and then we nurture them, but for some reason we can't stop them. Well, I will tell you, it just came to my head that in situations like that, stopping it maybe isn't the answer. Maybe you have to believe something else. So now we have this Five of Cups in reverse on top of this man holding a coin that literally looks like lack to me. Crying over what's in front of him, doesn't see what's behind him, even though he does have stuff. He's sad about the stuff that he perceives he doesn't have. Again, in the traditional meaning, there's a castle or there's a bridge or something behind him that he doesn't see. So he doesn't see any of that either. He thinks he has nothing. He's all this stuff behind him. See, man holding a coin, I feel like, is coming off like that. It's kind of like we think we have nothing, but we have everything. Again, now we've got this Four of Pentacles upside down, which is usually hanging on to stuff, but then we have these bad friends, which we're letting these bad friends go. This is important. A lot of times we don't do this. We're trying to get love and we're trying to get money, but we have these bad friends, which brings lack. We keep saying it. Every time we talk about lack, it's the opposite of abundance. If we're bringing lack in some ways, we're screwing up our abundance. We have this Nine of Swords in reverse on this door to value. So I feel, again, like even though sometimes if we know our value, we tend to pair up with people who don't know our value or don't know their own value. And then we screw ourselves because we're in a situation where we're allowing someone to bring something that's the opposite of our focus. Again, some type of lack. Maybe their character's off and they steal. So they could even steal stuff they can afford, but that's still bringing lack because they're taking it instead of just getting it, right? Or you can even manifest it without having to like do all that, you know, but this person is introducing this element into the manifestation. This happens a lot. You have to be grounded. You have to make the right decisions. You have to set yourself up for victory, right? You can't go into it blind and get the sun. If you do by accident, usually there's something else going on with it. You don't get to keep it. Something happens, you get it, you lose it. It's devastating. It's what creates this anxiety when we want to try to move forward and do it again. This flipped out, flipped back in. It's the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. And then we're back out with these Five of Pentacles upright. And then this last card is this Eight of Swords in reverse. We're doing it. We're doing it. So that's the getting in our own way portion of abundance. So, the most helpful advice that I could give you about this, especially when I first started trying to manifest things, because I had my own belief systems. I'd spent a lot of time in negative energy. I had to try to get myself out of it. And I was accidentally manifesting. I was pulling so many things close to me so hard and so fast that I had to control how I was doing it in order to not have chaos around me. an example of that was I would manifest a piece of furniture, but my chakras would be off, and then it would show up broken, right? So it was just stuff like that. So like I say, yes, an art to it in a sense where when you're watching The Secret and you go, well, it doesn't work, and it's because I just told you all the reasons why, but there's more reasons that we didn't get into here. And again, just having our head messed with a little bit can perpetuate that forward motion of those storms that we can perpetuate all day long if we want to, right? And we can even act like we don't have control of it when we do, right? And it sets us apart. It sets us back. I was going to say it sets us slow. But it's more than that. This anxiety comes with a price, right? And then however many years you go on with lack of whatever it is you're lacking, there's consequences for that too, right? So the best advice that I can give you on that is if you know that your brain gets in the way, if you know that like stuff comes to you, but then you remember you said, oh, that'll never work out, or something like that, or you said it and then the thing didn't work out. Maybe it's a relationship you really wanted and you said, you know what, I didn't believe it in the beginning and I actually said it to my friend. Something like that. Then what I'm going to tell you is already that you have an issue with that. So if you're trying to manifest something, then again, don't talk about it. Don't vocalize about it at all. I mean, at all. Don't even sit around and say, oh, I know it's going to work out, because if you don't believe it, it's the same thing. You just did the same thing. So don't vocalize about it. Don't have any attachment to how it works out. A lot of times we're thinking small anyway when we're manifesting. And so if we're thinking, oh, I want to get married, that Four of Wands was on the table at some point. But let's say, the universe has something much better planned for us, and getting married wasn't really the prize, right? But we thought it was, and that's what we hoped and wished for. We could have hoped and wished for something way bigger. That's abundance. That's what I'm talking about. It's like not just having the wedding, but having the big wedding, or not just having, the person that loves us, but the person that loves us unconditionally, or, not just having like a friend to talk to, but having like 10 friends to talk to. We don't always think of stuff like that because we're kind of just busy picking and choosing based on what we think we can bring to us. And again, that's not abundance, that's lack. So start dreaming big. Start getting to yourself to a point where if you know you have something that gets in the way, your thought process, your belief system, something that you see it. You have a dream and then boom, kicks in your defense mechanisms. Quiet those. Either, like I said, don't put yourself in situations where you're vocalizing at all, or quiet your vocalizations. Again, don't say, I need it to happen like this at this time. Let all that go. You're getting in your own way. If you just release the ways that you got in your own way, you would see stuff trying to come to you, and then you can start trying to do stuff to like bring it closer or to bring it better. It's mostly just getting out of the way of the belief systems that are stopping you from getting what you want. You don't have to bring the thing to you. You just have to stop yourself from stopping it. So keep that in mind. Until next time.